Good morning, and welcome to Judging by the Cover. Today we are looking at Thrillville off the rails. Now, this is a game that had come out originally in 2007, and it was the sequel to another game called Thrillville, as far as I am told. This was recommended to me by a good friend, Flamed Ezra, and some other friends of his that were, reminiscing on some old stuff. And I got to thinking, like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go ahead and give that a look. And look at that. Off the Rails is on Steam for, I believe it was about $10. Not a bad price for an old title like this. But the question is, what is the game that we are actually looking at? Well, Doc Brown here, who seems to have retired from time travel to take up theme park attractions, and is filling us in about some evil corporation that we had previously thwarted in something, and now we're managing a new park situation going on. Talking to people, making the rides, and all that. So there does seem to be like a main storyline of some sort in here for managing your park. And actually, talking to guests. They do show us in the trailers that you talk to guests, you do mini games and all kinds of things. Now, the vibe that I get from the trailers right off the bat, considering the trailers are only a couple minutes of actual footage for us to go through and judge on, is that the game has a lot going on. And it seemed to be put together with the thought of, what if Roller Coaster Tycoon had extra mini games and terrifying 3D models? Like, what the heck was that? With that with like the little girl there, like the huge hands and the animated models. Now, granted, again, this is 2007, made for computers at that time, so I'm not expecting, huge groundbreaking visuals for a game that basically wanted to be what if Roller Coaster Tycoon, but other stuff. We do see in the screenshots we have like a tanks mini game. Let me go ahead and cycle back here. We have what looks like a space age amusement park here with nice little sky tower going on here. We got the little octopus wheel thing, all kinds of stuff going on here. We see the people in there and everything, and all in line for the rides, looking and all excited and everything. People in parachutes. We see screenshots of a Ferris wheel that looks like it was put together using parts of a bulldozer. We see Happy Wheels. You're basically playing Happy Wheels, if anybody remembers those games as well. Another shot of the park, and the park has a gas station that looks more like a hotel shaped like a gas pump. Judging by the looks of it. That's how it looks, anyways. There's a thrill seeker meter up here that's showing with all the characters out in the field. The tanks minigame, like I said, more shots of the park. So they're showing you a lot of different ways that your park can look in here and how you can dress it up. They show you character dialogue along with your Happy Wheels game over here. Mortimer makes what could be a disaster a really great experience. When do I get to crash again? So they're actually looking forward to crashing. And of course, remember your preview may show many different possibilities. So this is, your park builder going on here with building the roller coasters like you do in Tycoon. Not to say that it's a blatant ripoff, because the game looks very much like they are trying to do their own distinct visual style with the idea of a park builder, which is admirable because, nobody owns the idea of just being an outright park builder thing. I mean, I personally have experience with uh, less with Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I've played SimCity 2000, Sim Tower, Sim Copter, and Jurassic Park Park Builder of all things. Go figure. Those are ones that I do have a bit more of an in-depth experience with in my own background, mostly in childhood when I played those kind of games when I had more time. But they do seem very excited with their presentation, so points for that, and points on a $10 price tag is not that big, especially for a game that is, gosh, almost 20 years old now. That looks like it offers what it does. And I am willing to give the visuals a pass because it is very much a product of its time, considering the type of project that it was. So it tells us in about the game, Thrillville Off the Rails lives up to its name with 20 death-defying rides so outrageous they inspire the same word from every park visitor who sees them. Whoa. Players build these incredible Whoa coasters to leap from one track to another, launch through the air like cannonballs, blast through the burning ring of fire, and more. So I'm wondering if these whoa coasters are pre-built or if they're simply like when you're building a coaster, criteria that you have to meet for it to reach the level of whoa coaster. That would be an interesting thing to see how that differs. All new feature doesn't stop there. Off the Rails features 34 playable multiplayer mini games, 15 new theme areas, 40 plus thrill rides, a new story that ties together more than 100 missions, and social interaction with park guests that's better than ever. The in-depth conversations both advance the plot and suggest better ways to manage the park. But is every guest to be trusted? That is an interesting dynamic right there, where it shows you have a character creation in the game. The trailer did show us the character creation that makes another one of our terrifying 3D modeled characters that we seem to walk around the park ourselves in instead of just clicking, random little avatars walking across as from our overhead view, and we actually interact personally with the park customers. That is a cool dynamic for the game. So you experience the visceral fun. Anybody who works customer service is laughing at that statement of interacting with the theme park you create. Build and ride your own creation so that you actually get to go on your rides. You talk and joke with your guests and play dozens of mini games. 15 themed areas like Battleville, Winterville, Spaceville, Arrowville, all spread throughout 5 new parks. So not only are you making the park up, it does seem like there is a progression here of some like pre-themed areas that you build up over time. I am wondering how much of a game it is to manage all of that, especially if you're wandering your park in a very first person perspective, like or first or third person perspective, with your main character, or if it's like Streets of SimCity, where you could actually load maps from your SimCity game, but then play it at the street level by driving the car around. If that's the case, if you're using a top down view to build, and then working from there, like walking into your park and exploring from there. You do create 20 death-defying whoa coasters, such as Hot Rod Stunt, Pendalizer, and Escape Drop. So one with a nitro boost goes across a broken track. Giant arm grabs the car before a gap in the track, whips it around in a full circle, and sets it down on the other side. Okay, that's a little wild. And the Escape Drop holds the car stationary as it lifts itself from level ground to a full 90-degree drop, then lets go. So, like Tower of Terror situation where, you take yourself up into the sky and then just whee! Distinguish your rides even more with enhanced customization options. Attach animatronics. Ooh, you can go full Fazbear on it then. Flowers and flaming hoops to all of your coasters and rides. And it actually has 14 new and 20 original 20 returning from the original Thrillville, but with new levels. So the mini games do seem to have a lot to go. Now, I am wondering, with this kind of a thing, it does seem like the mini games, they really tout the mini games. And it does seem like playing and scoring in them might be important to progressing in what they're saying is an actual story and plot to the game. So I am very much getting the vibes of it wanted to be Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it really wanted to try and one up it. I'm a little skeptical at how successfully it does that, considering that I have literally never heard of this game whatsoever. But the fact that with considering that fact and that Roller Coaster Tycoon is still producing new games to this generation, including re-releasing their old games, whereas this one's just kind of sitting there, released 2007, and never really heard anything from there. Even when I typed it into the search bar, this was the only thing to come up. So the original one was probably also on PC, but on disc, like something you would buy on CD at Target or something like that. With the visuals and the theming and the focus on the mini games, I feel like the game is very busy for what it's trying to accomplish. And that does leave me a little skeptical for where it wants to go. I'm going to have to give this one a 4 out of 10 on my own scale. For anybody out there that does have a history of this and thinks that my scoring is completely invalid, by all means, feel free to love your game all you want or bash me in the comments if you like. My judgment is based on the store page as this series goes. It's just that the store page makes it seem like the game is trying to do too much, where other games have worked to maybe be less, but in being less, they allow you more flexibility, more creativity, and have managed to refine it in a way with other kinds of park builders. Like, I think there was a Sim Zoo, there was the Jurassic Park builder where you focus on building your dinosaur exhibits, but even then, it's a top down experience. The Roller Coaster Tycoon, where it's famous for people building their little death machine rides and just getting their crazy whims off of that. Whereas this one, it's more story driven, but it seems like they really went maybe a little too deep and too ambitious with what they were trying to do. I'm sure if somebody were to go and produce something like this in today's day and age, for one, it would cost more, but it would look more polished. The 3D characters do look a little terrifying, but again, I'm willing to give it a bit of a pass because of it being a product of the times. It just seems like they are trying to do too much, and maybe if they scaled it back and did a little less with it, they could make something that looks a little more refined and a little more polished. That they could have focused, and who knows, maybe even competed with Roller Coaster Tycoon into the continuing years of game production. But that's just my own perspective of 4 out of 10 for my score. Anybody who has anything else to say, or if anybody does have a nostalgia or still loves to play this to this day, by all means, I do not want to take away your fun. This is just kind of my own personal thoughts and analysis based on the trailers, screenshots, and description provided here. It doesn't really make me want to buy something, but at the same time, if I had $10 to just drop on something and I was like, you know what? I want something that looks like a goofy pile of silliness. This could be something that would actually get that $10. If I was looking for a goofy time for an afternoon, I don't see myself putting too much time into it though. But for people out there who do have more experience with it, by all means, let me know what I got wrong. Let me know that I am a complete doofus in this. And I feel like when my friends who recommended this to me see this review, they are probably going to eviscerate me. Not only in comments on here on YouTube, but probably on both of our discords as well.